have tried to film a YouTube video like probably 5 different times. I've edited it, watched it, and then just never posted it. I don't know why I get so nervous, and I don't know, it's just scary putting yourself out there and talking to the camera and thinking like, am I being awkward, or will people like this, or what? But I'm over it. So, for my first video, I've been trying to think like what would be the most impactful, in a sense of like, what do you guys want to hear about? What should I talk about? And what's been such a prominent thing in my life is fitness, my fitness journey, how I stay on track, the pressure of staying on track, working out, lifestyle, everything. So I wanted to do this video about all of that, as well as I recently found a super, super embarrassing photo. And it kind of humbled me and made me take a step back to realize how far I truly have come. And I feel like this transformation is something that I would want to share with you guys, because there's probably so many people out there like me, or that need help, or that need a push. And what you guys have to understand is that like, it also holds me accountable. It is helping me stay on track as much as it's helping you get on track. So let's talk. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordyn Woods. For those of you that do, hello, thank you for watching my video. I am from Los Angeles. I am 22 years old. I just turned 22 like a couple weeks ago. It's my birthday. I'm a Libra gang, for those of you who know, you know. So I wrote down some questions that I felt like needed to be answered and needed to be addressed, and that were helpful. So my first question is, how old was I when I felt most conscious about my weight? So I always grew up the bigger girl. I was always taller than the people in my class. I was always bigger, and I guess just as you get older, you get more and more self-conscious, because when you're young, you don't really care, you don't pay attention, it's cool, but, it would be the little things like going to a pool party and all the girls are in their cute bikinis, and, I just would wear the big t-shirts because sis wasn't feeling herself, I wasn't confident. Even though it was a young age, I still remember those moments where I didn't feel comfortable going to the pool party and being in the bikini like all the other girls, and I would actually not even want to go to the pool party. That's how much it would discourage me. I remember going to the mall and wanting to shop at all the stores like Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister, and I could get a couple t-shirts, but I wasn't fitting all the other stuff that everyone else is wearing. So I hated going to the mall, I hated shopping, I hated pool parties. In like the little comments, I remember a woman was talking to my father, and she was like, yeah, your daughter's gonna be so pretty when she loses all her baby fat. I was like, am I not pretty now? I don't. So it's like little things that made me realize that maybe, I am a little bit different than everyone else. But as time goes on, you just get so comfortable with accepting that that's who you are, and that's what it is. So I didn't really feel the need to change. I was comfortable with just being like in the background, and also not really like caring to fit in like everyone else. I became a tomboy through that process because I was comfortable. So that's when I just was always slightly self-conscious, but I made myself comfortable with who I was, and accepted that's what it is. I wasn't necessarily happy, but I was comfortable. I would say one of my lowest moments and point in time was this embarrassing picture that I found to show you guys, which really triggered the idea for this whole video. This was the first time I was ever in a paparazzi photo. I was at the Grove, I was with Willow. She loved me regardless of how I looked. I do not know why I felt like it was a good idea to wear this. Man, this outfit, this look, the hair, everything, this is a big no. We all have to go through it. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, kids these days, like even my little sister, never had the awkward stage. My awkward stage just ended like maybe a year ago. I'm still getting out of it, but this picture, oh. So, we got popped, didn't think anything of it, and the internet was around, so I was on the internet, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a picture of me taken. It was like a foreign concept to me, because it's the first time a random person took my photo, got posted on the internet, and there were comments. Now, reading those comments at 12, 13 years old was probably the most heartbreaking thing to me ever. I remember sitting in front of my computer, reading it, and tears just started coming out of my eyes. I couldn't understand how grown people could sit and pick apart a young girl, but that completely broke me. That was a moment where I knew that I was unhappy. I knew I wasn't happy with the way that I looked. So, that was my lowest point. I want to share this picture with you guys to see that I started somewhere, and that's not where you have to end up, and you don't have to be comfortable. You know what? Let me rephrase that. You have to be comfortable in your skin, because that's what God gave you. Your individuality is your gift, and you have to own it, and you have to love it, but I didn't understand that until I had this moment. That moment of being completely heartbroken about my appearance and about people's comments actually shifted me to become the confident person that I am today. Because through, over time, I've read books about, self-love and improvement and ideas, but also through experience, I've learned that truly your individuality is your gift. No one is you. That is your power, and you're given this body for a reason. Your body is a vessel. So, after that whole terrible event, and sharing that picture with you guys, I realized that my purpose is much bigger than me, and the only way to be the best version of myself is if I do that for me. So over time, I went through so many different, identity crises. I shaved half my head. I had piercings. I did weird stuff, as most kids do experiment these days. It doesn't really exist on Instagram too much, luckily, but I've been on social media since that age, so you guys have grown up with me. You've seen the phases and the processes, and who I am today is not who I have to be tomorrow, next week, next year, and you guys will grow with me and see that, but I'm still finding myself. I'm still figuring it out, but you have to start somewhere. So sometimes in life, you have to look out for the signs, and maybe something little, maybe something big that reminds you to be grateful. I had a very very triggering moment in my journey of losing my father, which completely ignited something within my body. Even though it was probably the worst thing I've had to go through, I learned that the bad things that happen to you don't have to define you. Even though they do define your character, who you are, you always have to learn and grow through it. At 19 years old, losing a parent, losing a loved one is not something you think you have to deal with. It's not something that you know how to deal with. There's no right or wrong way to cope with it, but it was so triggering for me, and my trigger was getting myself to the gym. That completely changed my life, and that moment got me to the gym. Gym became my therapy. Gym became the thing I looked forward to, and not only was it helping me emotionally, it was physically changing my body and making me feel better. And I remember I was working out so much and people were like, oh, you're not body positive anymore. I think that body positivity is really loving the skin that you're in and wanting to be the best version of yourself. So yes, I'm body positive, and yes, I'm kicking ass because I want to feel good and look good, and after something like that, you realize you can't take your health in your life for granted. So I started working out all the time. I started getting on track. I lost probably 30 pounds in a matter of 5 months, and I felt great, and I realized that not only do I have a story, but there's probably so many people out there like me that need help getting on track, need to get motivated, or don't know how. Luckily I found a trainer that I liked, and I was working out a lot with the trainer, but when you don't have a trainer and you go to the gym, it can get boring. You don't know what to do. So I recently have been mastering my workouts, getting together programs, and I want us to kind of do this fitness thing together. When we all have to hold each other accountable. Accountability is something that we are lacking so much in our society. So we have to hold each other accountable, and we really have to just create this community of people that are uplifting each other and doing it together. So I have been working really hard on getting together programs, which are coming out November this year, in like a month pretty much. My phone has a mind of its own. Yeah, they're coming out this year, but really for me it was to not only get you guys to hold each other good for yourself, you don't want to do bad to other people. I do a lot of squats, I do a lot of legs, so a lot of my programs are really targeted towards glutes, legs, some abs. I'm still working on getting my abs. I know that abs are made in the kitchen. I love to cook, so I've been trying to master some recipes as well, to where we don't feel like diets have to be for a moment. A diet should be a lifestyle. You should never feel like, unless you're doing like a detox or something, what you eat should become an everyday thing for you. You shouldn't feel like, oh shoot, it's Monday, let me cut off. Also, people tend to push things till, oh, I'll do it Monday. Really start tomorrow, because the longer you push it off, when Monday comes, you're not gonna do it. Let's be honest. You're not gonna do it. At least from personal experience, if I push it off till Monday, I'm not gonna do it. You know how many times I pushed this YouTube video off till Monday? And now it's actually Monday and I'm doing it, but I pushed it off for like 20 Mondays. And now you can't do that to your health. YouTube is a little bit different, but your health is not a game. So someone that is struggling with their weight, that doesn't know where to start,